Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat, crank up some reggae, and let's dive into the vibrant, soulful, and sometimes complicated love life of Bob Marley, the king of reggae, the voice of a generation, and a man whose music still shakes the world. From the sun-soaked streets of Jamaica to the global stage, Bob's life was a whirlwind of rhythm, rebellion, and romance. Today, we're not just talking about the man himself, but the incredible women who stood by his side, inspired his songs, and carried his legacy forward. Welcome to the ultimate deep dive into Bob Marley's love stories. Buckle up, this is gonna be a wild ride. Lucille Williams, the childhood sweetheart. Picture this, a young Bob Marley, all lanky limbs and big dreams, running around the dusty roads of 9 Mile, Jamaica. Enter Lucille Williams, his childhood pal who knew him before the dreadlocks, before the fame, before the world chanted his name. These two were thick as thieves, sharing laughs and maybe a few shy glances as kids. As they hit their teens, those glances turned into something sweeter, a classic puppy love romance that had all the makings of a coming-of-age flick. But let's be real. Teenage love is like a reggae riff, short, sweet, and sometimes a little offbeat. Lucille and Bob's romance wasn't built for the long haul. Life pulled them in different directions, and their story faded like a sunset over Kingston. Still, Lucille holds a special place in Bob's story as the girl who knew him when he was just Nesta, a kid with a guitar and a whole lot of soul. Not much is known about Lucille's later years, but you can bet she smiled every time No Woman No Cry hit the radio, remembering the boy who stole her heart. Rita Marley, the queen of reggae's heart. Rita Marley wasn't just Bob Marley's wife, she was his partner, muse, and musical match. They met in mid-60s Trenchtown, where young love and big dreams collided. Bob, too shy to approach her, sent friends with love notes. By 1966, they were married. Rita brought more than love to the table. She was a powerhouse, joining the Wailers as a backing vocalist and helping craft the soul-stirring sound that made songs like Stir It Up and Get Up, Stand Up anthems for the ages. She was also a devoted mom, raising her daughter from a previous relationship, whom Bob adopted, and their 3 kids together: Cedella, born 1967, David Ziggy, 1968, and Stephen, 1972. Through the chaos of fame, tours, and Bob's growing legend, Rita was the glue that held it all together. After Bob's death in 1981, she transformed their home into the Bob Marley Museum, founded the Bob Marley Foundation, and kept his message alive. Rita believes their connection still exists, saying Bob's spirit remains with her. A powerful artist and keeper of his legacy, Rita Marley is the queen who kept the fire burning. Cindy Breakspeare, the beauty queen with a rebel heart. Enter Cindy Breakspeare, the stunning model and jazz singer who turned heads and stole Bob's heart in the late 70s. Crowned Miss World 1976, Cindy was Jamaica's pride, a vision of grace and charisma. But don't let the tiara fool you. This was no damsel in distress. Cindy was a free spirit, and when she met Bob in Kingston, the chemistry was electric. It all started innocently enough. The Wailers were rehearsing behind Cindy's place, and Bob, ever the charmer, struck up a conversation. We'd chat here and there, Cindy recalled in a 2019 interview, and then the talks got longer, and the sparks started flying. For 6 years, their romance burned bright, a mix of passion and creativity that left a lasting mark on both their lives. In 1978, Cindy gave birth to their son, Damian Marley, who'd grow up to be a reggae superstar in his own right. Damien hit the ground running, releasing his debut album Mr. Marley at 18 on Tough Gong, co-produced by his brother Stephen. The kid didn't just ride his dad's coattails, he carved his own path, snagging 2 Grammys in one night and collaborating with heavyweights like Mariah Carey's Cruise Control, Jay-Z's Bam, Bruno Mars' Liquor Store Blues, and Gwen Stefani's Now That You Got It. Talk about a chip off the old block. Cindy's love for Bob never faded, even after their romance cooled. Visiting the Bob Marley Museum always hits her hard. She admitted to 876 questions. "We lived there together," she said, her voice thick with nostalgia. "It's like stepping back into those moments." Cindy's story is a testament to the power of love that lingers, even when life takes you down different roads. Esther Anderson, the muse who shaped a legend. Now, let's jet across the pond to London, where Bob Marley met Esther Anderson, a Jamaican actress and filmmaker who helped him tap into his roots and find his voice. Esther was no ordinary woman. She was a rising star at Island Records, a label that would catapult Bob to global fame, and a celebrated actress in Britain. When she and Bob crossed paths in the early 70s, it was like 2 forces of nature colliding. Esther wasn't just a romantic partner. She was a creative collaborator who saw Bob's potential and pushed him to embrace his Jamaican identity. She helped him refine his sound and his message, digging deep into the cultural and spiritual roots that made reggae more than just music. It was a movement. Their relationship, though short-lived, was intense, and Esther's influence is all over Bob's early work. In the 2011 documentary, Bob Marley, The Making of a Legend, Esther opened up about their time together, painting a vivid picture of love and ambition. "Bob told me, 'You can't leave me alone. My music is gonna follow you everywhere,'" she said, laughing at his confidence. And he wasn't wrong. Bob's music did follow her and the world, becoming a soundtrack for revolution and hope. Esther's story is one of passion and purpose. She wasn't just along for the ride, she helped steer the ship, guiding Bob toward the icon he'd become. And when their romance ended, she carried that fire into her own career, leaving a legacy as a trailblazer in film and music. Pat Williams, The Quiet Connection. Not every love story is splashed across the headlines, and Pat Williams's relationship with Bob Marley is proof of that. In the early 70s, while Bob was navigating fame and fatherhood, he and Pat had a brief but meaningful connection that resulted in the birth of their son, Robert Robbie Nesta Marley, in 1972. Pat kept a low profile, and details about their romance are scarce. But what we do know is that their bond produced a son who carried Bob's spirit in his own way. Robbie, unlike his siblings, shied away from the spotlight. In a rare 2012 interview with Collider, he described his father as quiet, patient, stern, and a teacher to everyone around him. Robbie's words paint a picture of a man who, despite his larger-than-life persona, was grounded in his role as a father. Pat's decision to stay out of the public eye only adds to the mystery of her story. But her place in Bob's life is undeniable. Janet Hunt, the private protector. Like Pat, Janet Hunt is a bit of an enigma in Bob's world. Their relationship, also in the early 70s, gave the world Rohan Marley, born just months after Robbie. Janet fiercely guarded her privacy, shielding herself and Rohan from the glare of Bob's fame. But Rohan, he was destined to shine. As a teen, Rohan chased gridiron glory, playing college football and later going pro with the Canadian Football League's Ottawa Rough Riders. But his true calling came later, when he founded Marley Coffee in 2009, an organic coffee company rooted in his father's love for the earth. 2 years later, he launched the House of Marley, a line of eco-friendly audio products that vibe with Bob's laid-back style. In a 2014 Rolling Stone interview, Rohan shared the wisdom Bob instilled in him. "You don't do things just for you. If it's positive, we can do it. When you have more, you can do more." That's the Marley ethos: limitless, selfless, and always striving for better. Janet may have stayed in the shadows, but her son's achievements are a testament to the love and strength she passed down. Janet Bowen, the brief flame. Another Janet enters the scene. Janet Bowen, whose whirlwind romance with Bob in the early 70s led to the birth of their daughter, Karen Marley, in 1973. Janet chose a life away from the Marley spotlight, letting Karen grow up surrounded by her father and siblings in Jamaica. It was a selfless choice, one that gave Karen the chance to soak up Bob's influence and carry it into her own creative journey. Karen, now a fashion designer, launched her eco-friendly brand by Karen Marley on International Women's Day 2022. Her designs are a love letter to her father's relaxed, conscious style, blending sustainability with Jamaican heritage. "My father cared deeply for our planet," Karen said, "and his sense of style was the origin for my easy, conscious vibe." She's also quick to set the record straight about Bob, noting that the 2012 Marley documentary didn't fully capture his disciplined business side. "He was strict," she said, "not just with music, but with running his empire." Karen's story is a reminder that Bob's legacy isn't just in his songs. It's in the values he passed down to his kids, who are out there making the world a better place. One design, one coffee bean, one song at a time. Lucy Pounder, the modest matriarch. Lucy Pounder's story is one of quiet strength. Her relationship with Bob in the mid-70s resulted in the birth of their son, Julian Marley, in 1975. Lucy raised Julian modestly, far from the glitz of fame, but made sure he stayed connected to his father, sending him to Jamaica every year to bond with Bob and soak up the island's culture. At 17, Julian moved to Jamaica for good, diving headfirst into music and the Rastafarian faith that defined his family. Julian's career as a musician, songwriter, and producer has been nothing short of inspiring. After losing both his father and his daughter to cancer, he's channeled his grief into advocacy, championing medical marijuana for kids and researching cannabis-based cancer treatments. His music, like his father's, is a call to action, blending reggae with a modern edge that keeps Bob's spirit alive. Lucy's role in Julian's life was pivotal. By giving him the freedom to explore his roots while grounding him in humility, she helped shape a man who's not just a Marley, but a force for change in his own right. Anita Belnavas, the champion with a creative spark. Anita Belnavas wasn't just another name in Bob's life. She was a Jamaican table tennis champion with a fierce spirit and a creative soul. Her romance with Bob from 1975 to 1976 was brief, but left a lasting legacy in their son, Kai Mani Marley, born in 1976. Anita chose his name from East African tradition, meaning adventurous traveler, a fitting nod to the journey Kai Mani would take. Anita nurtured Kai Mani's artistic side, teaching him the value of creativity. That spark paid off when Kai Mani launched his music career, earning a Grammy nomination in 2002 for his genre-blending sound. From reggae to hip-hop, Kai Mani's music reflects the adventurous spirit his mother saw in him from the start. Anita's influence is a quiet but powerful thread in the Marley tapestry, proof that even a short chapter can leave a big impact. Ivet Kryton, the final chapter. Last but not least, we have Ivet Kryton, often called Iet, one of Bob's final romantic connections. Their relationship was brief, but it bore fruit in the form of their daughter, Makeda Janesta Marley, born just weeks after Bob's passing in 1981. Makeda grew up visiting Rita Marley's home in Jamaica, becoming part of the extended Marley clan, and later a beneficiary of the Marley estate. Ivet's story is a poignant reminder of Bob's far-reaching impact. Even in his final days, his love for life and family shone through, leaving behind a daughter who carries his name and his spirit. Makeda's connection to the Marley legacy is a bridge between Bob's past and the future, a testament to the enduring power of his love, the legacy of love. So, what's the takeaway from this epic saga of love, music, and legacy? Bob Marley wasn't just a reggae icon, he was a man who lived with an open heart, pouring his love into his music, his children, and the women who shaped his world. From Rita's unwavering devotion to Cindy's fiery romance, from Esther's creative spark to the quiet strength of Pat, Janet, Lucy, Anita, and Ivet. These women weren't just footnotes in Bob's story. They were co-authors, helping write a legacy that still resonates today. Bob's 11 children, Cedella, Ziggy, Stephen, Damien, Robbie, Rohan, Karen, Julian, Kaimani, Makeda, and others, are living proof of his boundless love. They're musicians, entrepreneurs, designers, and advocates, each carrying a piece of their father's vision. And the women who raised them? They're the unsung heroes, the ones who nurtured that vision and kept the flame burning. As we wrap up this journey, let's crank up one love and raise a glass to Bob Marley and the women who loved him. Their stories remind us that love, like music, knows no boundaries. It's messy, it's beautiful, and it's eternal. So next time you're swaying to Three Little Birds, think of Rita, Cindy, Esther, and the rest, and know that their voices are in every note. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride through Bob Marley's love life. If you're vibing with this story, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more epic tales from the world of music and beyond. Until next time, keep the reggae in your heart and the love in your soul. Peace out.